Hi there. So if you've been with us, you know that we're talking about play, and today we're going to talk about ages 4 to 5 years old, so just before kindergarten for most children. And of course, we're going to run through fine and gross motor, cognitive, social skills, and then development and play all together. So let's get started. So socially, kids at this age are able to sing songs like the circle time songs that they sing or days of the week song, all those different songs. They're able to sing them in their entirety. They're also able to, in regards to social component, role play based on the parents' roles, the jobs that they see their caregivers doing around the house and for work. I know my dad was a teacher, so I used to play teacher all the time at this age. I would set up chairs, I would put dolls and stuffies on the chairs, and I would stand up and teach the dolls and the stuffies. I'm not so sure how much they learned, but that was my way of playing. That's what I saw my father doing. And also, this is an age where you see children, with tools and cleaning. So, they're like cleaning and dusting. They can actually do these activities too, for real. But they're imitating what they see their caregivers doing. They also have a pretty developed sense of humor. I mentioned yesterday I work a lot with this age group and have for a long time. It's one of the things that I love about them. They're really funny. And sometimes they're funny on purpose, and sometimes they are just really, the imaginative play is so fun. And kind of out there in the best way possible. And that's the fun part of going along with it. So that's in regards to social. Gross motor, they are doing so much. They're kicking a ball towards a target. They're catching a ball, starting to use their hands, not their chest. They can hop about like 4 to 6 steps. They have really more fluid movements. Toddlers are like robotic kind of. 4 and 5 year olds are running on the playground. They're playing on all the equipment. They're climbing up to the top and coming back down. They're jumping off of equipment, and it looks pretty graceful usually. They're skipping, and a really easy thing to do is have a child do jumping jacks and see if it looks symmetrical on either side. Are the arms and legs going out in an X at the same time, or the legs going and then the arms, or the arms going and then the legs? Does it look like a jumping jack that you would do as a grown-up? Fine motor is really exploding at this point. They're using a more mature grasp on a writing instrument. So again, I wouldn't use something this tall. I would probably break this in half and use that part of the pencil, either end. But they're using a more mature grasp. That is a tripod grasp. That's what they would be using. They can complete a 10-piece puzzle, and it wouldn't have to be an island puzzle, like where the apple is on the apple, and then there's, this would be more like interconnected pieces. They're coloring within the lines, give or take. Sometimes it doesn't look exactly pretty, but they're really trying to stay in the lines of coloring. They are using what we talked about before when we were talking about bilateral coordination. They're using a dominant hand and a helper hand. So they're holding the paper and coloring. So they're using both together for a common good, so the paper doesn't wiggle all around the page. They can draw a stick figure, and sometimes it's really telling. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to ask a child to draw themselves as they feel their body. And so sometimes you'll have the head aligned for the body, 2 arms and 2 legs. Sometimes you'll have a head, no trunk, and just legs coming out of the head. And sometimes you'll have a child who draws the hair and a skateboard and ears and eyelashes and the whole thing, and wants to label it. So just see what they draw. Remember, nothing is wrong, and I never comment on artwork in that regard to like right, wrong, good, bad. Oh, that's interesting. Or I see you used purple, or I see you drew hair on your person. they're statements, they're not questions, they're not positive negatives. That's a trick for the adults, the grown-ups. By the time a child goes to kindergarten, it is typical for them to be able to copy their first name. So my name is Jenna, so I would be able to look at Jenna on a paper and copy it onto mine. That is developmentally appropriate. They're able to string small beads, so not the big fat beads that we talked about as earlier for younger children, like the big wooden beads. These would be more like jewelry beads that they would like make a beaded bracelet for their friend or caregiver or something like that. Cognitive. They understand the rules to simple games. This is really fun. So they can understand the rules to duck, duck, goose, or, oh gosh, what else is there? Duck, duck, goose is the one I always think of. We'll think of some more, but they can understand certain games. Oh, I actually have a little die here. They can understand, I roll the die. This is what this means. So I do this a lot with cards, gross motor cards and core strengthening cards. So we'll roll the die, and then whatever it lands on, that's how many they do. I have a 20-sided die as well. So cognitive, back to cognitive. They remember the rules to the game if it's a like duck, duck, goose type of game with only a very few reminders. So they would be able to play pretty much on their own with their peers. They make up stories that involve role play. So they're exploring and they're telling all the stories and they're learning how to tell a story. And this can be a little bit tiring for grown-ups because they're trying to tell a story, and so they might say the same thing over and over in the beginning, like because they're actually asking you to like help figure it out along the way. So be patient. It's hard, I know sometimes, but help them to simply explain stories. They're really goal-oriented with play with 2 to 3 other children. So that goes along with cooperative play. This is the stage. We're getting a little into the play now, of course. This is the cooperative play stage. So cooperative play means that they are working with peers towards a common goal. So take your pick. There are a million things, but this little group of kids all has a collective idea together that they're working towards together towards the shared goal. That's cooperative play. So they're beginning with that. They're planning an activity, they're doing the activity, they're carrying out the whole entire thing together. One more thing about cognition, they're beginning to think about abstract problem solving. They're beginning that process. And that means thinking through something. It's more of a concrete example, but how do you open this? This is a pencil sharpener. How you actually open it, and I wouldn't tell a child how to open it at first. I might say, I'm gonna sharpen my pencil. And I would sharpen the pencil. And then I would say, you can do it, it's your turn. And they might look at it, and this is like where they're moving around in their hand, and they might press it around a lot of different places. And finally, they might open it and sharpen the pencil. So they're figuring things out, they're problem solving. Well, this doesn't do anything down here, but what if I try over here? And they're thinking through that with more abstract things as well. This is concrete because it's an actual thing. So play. Kickball's another one. Kickball, I kick the ball and then I run the bases. And I stand here and I do this. Or Simon Says, I'm gonna be Simon, you're all gonna follow me. Those kind of games. Group games are highly preferred from ages 4 to 5. Constructive play, things that they're building and interested in the goal of, here's this art craft, the end result is what they're interested in as well, not just the beginning phase. They take pride in their work. Mom, dad, caregiver, auntie, uncle, whoever, sibling, look what I made. They're really proud of their work. And they're constructing complex structures. So this is where the wooden blocks or the magnetiles become, a Star Wars ship, and then it becomes a land over here. Or there's something that has an elevator, that they're working on the elevator, and then all of a sudden it goes from the elevator out into a town. That's all pretend, but you make little structures along the way, and I've had all those things happen with children, and it's really fun to see them come up with the next plan and the next idea. And of course our little figures are talking as we do that. Social and dramatic play, role plays with peers. So what they're seeing at home or what they're seeing at school, they're playing that out with friends. With dress up and storytelling along the way. Their narratives are getting longer and more complex and might include a lot more imaginative play with imaginary friends too. So this is the age 4 to 5 before kindergarten. This is a really big difference between 3 and 4 years old. And if you've had children or around children a lot or work with children or a therapist, you can really see this difference. I always think by 5 years old, wow, they are so ready for kindergarten. They need the next level because they're really working hard and they're really developed. It's surprising. They're still little guys, height-wise, but they can do so much and they know so much. So that's play. We have 2 more rounds of play left, but tomorrow is Dance Party Friday. So we're gonna finish up play next week. Thanks for hanging in there. This has been much longer than I thought it was gonna be too, in the whole play talk. So thanks for hanging, and we'll see you tomorrow for Dance Party Friday. Bye-bye.